Hello and welcome. I've got to pay tribute to Ross Chastain's awesome wall ride to the championship. Here I've got minimal upgrades and a totally trashed car, yet I'm going to enter this race and I'm going to try to win it by using some wall riding as well as just some good old racing. You got to do a combination of both. You can't just rely on wall riding, but it's not necessarily as easy as you think. One thing you might have just noticed, which is very unusual for me, is that I currently have steering assist high on. And yeah, we're going to bring a couple more views in here. I think that driver view is going to be awesome here because you get to see how much I'm actually steering to get wall rides going and to get out of them. Now, the first couple here aren't great because I do not have a good entrance into the wall ride. Like, that's horrible. So, steering assist high I only use on speedways like Indy and Daytona, and then also at Richmond. Otherwise, I find that it does not help you at all. Okay. So one secret to wall riding in Real Racing 3, that's all I'm talking about, not other games, Real Racing 3, you've got to keep your front end off the wall. If you get your front end into that wall, it's going to dig in and it's going to kill your momentum. You're going to see that. However, you also don't want your front end too far away from the wall because that's going to put you really sideways. Your tires are going to start digging into the track like your rear tires and you're going to lose speed. So it's a very fine balance. Like you're going to see when I get it right, it's just a little bit of a tilt. And then, whoa, that was beautiful. Pulling out of a wall ride is very important. That's where I'm going to argue that Tilt B controls are superior to Tilt A for this type of driving. Because the easiest way to pull out is to just lift off the throttle so you can coast for a bit. So I'm using Tilt B controls. You can see the gas pedal. Not going to see the brake pedal too often, but you will. There are times where a wall ride is not good, and then I'll be doing some more traditional braking. Like there, I'm doing some more traditional braking into this corner, try to find a way to power through this. There we go. So it's a combination of both, just like Ross Chastain's race at Martinsville on the weekend. He didn't get into the position of having that wall ride benefit him by just being lucky. I mean, surviving Martinsville is hard enough. It's just a half-mile track, whereas Richmond here is 3/4 mile. But anyhow, Ross Chastain had a really good race and then did that to get the additional overtakes he needed to compete for a championship, which is just incredible. Anyhow, so you can see here, I'm already in first place. I'm going to keep on doing this though. Let's just see how far I can go. There's only 3 more laps to go, and you know, like, these are short laps. Ooh, that was a nasty bounce. It's interesting if you look at the top right and you see how much steering I'm doing and how the steering isn't necessarily following what my car's doing because my car's taking a little bit to respond. So you can see that you don't just huck it into a wall ride and drift around that corner without any talent at all. Now, actually, you know what? What's really funny is just last week I released a video in the Koenigsegg Jesko that's capable of going over 500 kilometers an hour where I was wall riding at Mount Panorama. So I've been doing this for years, guys, way before Ross Chastain made it famous. It's an old video game technique, but I've been doing it for years, and I threw out that video because I was challenged to win a race without ever using the brakes. So I actually used Tilt A controls to force myself to be full throttle all the time at Mount Panorama in one of the biggest monster cars in the game. If you haven't seen the video, you really should check it out. I'll throw a link up at the end of this one. It's ridiculous to see what that car can do, but also proper wall riding technique was really beneficial. And it is a technique you should learn because sometimes there's special events where it comes in handy. Anyhow, this is wrapping up right away. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Ooh, check out the sparks flying. Ah, you gotta love it. And so we're gonna pull out of these views because that race footage just ends. Hope you really enjoyed this, guys. Please like, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Throw in a comment. I try to be really interactive. I'll answer your questions. And thank you for joining me today. Here's that Jesko link and some other stuff you might find interesting.